welcome to Overdrive AF, the official podcast of Overdrive Fitness. My name is Teddy Gerzon, and I'm joined by Gina Marie Gerzon.
What is up?
What up? What up? We are approaching Thanksgiving tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, the goal is the same as every year. Gobble till you wobble. Right? Calories don't count tomorrow. You just have to give thanks. That's it. I think it's very important.
Absolutely. And that's why we're doing this podcast
today. We're doing this podcast today to give thanks. All right. So this is episode number 162 of Overdrive AF, coming at you from Overdrive 3.0, the podcast studio slash office. So, what was I going to say? Totally lost my train of thought. Anyway, tomorrow is Thanksgiving. That's huge. And I guess at the end of the episode, we'll shout out our athlete of the month.
Yes.
Because that's very important.
Totally. Oh my gosh.
All right. So today, why don't you lead it off? What are we talking about today? Tell everybody.
I thought it was very fitting since we're coming up on Thanksgiving, and the whole purpose of Thanksgiving is, people are always talking about like all the food and gobble till you wobble, like you said. But the point of Thanksgiving really goes beyond that, and the title of the episode for us was going to be Healthy Eating Choices Beyond Nutrition. I feel like it's important just to highlight the reasons why we're giving thanks and the reasons why we gather around the table. We, as a people, as a species, we thrive on connection. We're not supposed to be, hiding in a cave. I know there was a time and a place for that back in the day, but, there were and still are tribes, whether it's human or mammal or what, but majority of these communities, these species, and we can talk about human, is you thrive on that connection, you thrive on that community, you thrive on that tribe, that tribal focus. And I wanted to bring this up because it was basically brought up to me too, and it just, even in my educating myself and for us to do the best for you guys and continue our knowledge and to be to continue to be able to teach and coach and guide appropriately and guide with the best of our abilities. Just finding that being able to stay within that community, having that community feel, having that family feel, that connection can really allow for our health to thrive and for it to be basically the most powerful leverage point in changing our health outcomes. I wanted to just go over a study that, it's not even just a study, but this huge meta-analysis that was done at Brigham Young University. It was over 148 studies with over 300,000 participants. And with these years and years and all of these participants in all of these studies, they found that having healthy relationships was basically having these healthy social ties was basically the most powerful determining factor on people's health outcomes. So, we have all of these different diseases like diabetes, just obesity in general, diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, and, the list goes on. These are all reversible. And when we take the appropriate measures to do so, these things can change. Our health can get better. We can really, getting back to this tribal, this community awareness, this connection that we have to each other, whether it's, close coworkers, family, friends, teammates, whatever the case, because we all have different types of families. We all have different stretches and even extended. Could be
Friendsgiving.
what a Friendsgiving, whatever. We can really start to redefine the home front and create more healthy habits that have indirect connections to nutrition specifically, and really allow for just better health overall. They had also found in these huge meta-analysis that, again, it was over 300,000 participants, that it really did result in over a 50% reduction in mortality. So I took a lot of notes on this, so I want you guys to really hear what I'm saying. That, relationships so deeply determine what foods we're eating, our exercise habits, our mental health, and again, the list goes on and on. A lot of us are working more and maybe more than we ever have, regardless of if we're working remotely, if we're traveling back into the city again, or whatever the case. It just seems like the majority of people are working more. So making time for these relationships and being able to maintain these healthy habits and this connection to our family, and again, whatever that family is for you, we're social creatures and we thrive on that connection. We thrive on that closeness. We're not hermits. There's also a time and a place for having that alone time too. I think that that's also very healthy. That self-care, that part of your self-care. I can't stress enough that more and more now that they're researching this, and these studies have been going on for many, many years, even decades. One study that's been done by the Harvard Medical School, there was one that's been over 80 years, and I think they're just passing the baton on now to a new directors, but over 80 years that relationships are really our number one determining factor for both our life and our health span. That's like, it's a huge light bulb that should be going off for people. We're kind of like robots sometimes. It's, day in, day out, we have our set schedules, everything is kind of set on our phones, on our computers, things buzzing and turning on and off, and phone calls and emails and texts, and everything's very structured, and we kind of get used to like that monotony of that, I guess. But a lot of us are kind of falling short in that family department, in that connection department. And I think by really being strong and kind of forceful in a really positive way, in a nurturing way too, is starting to bring these things back into the home and bring these things back. And again, family, friends, coworkers, teammates, whatever that is, having that connection. There was another study in the Journal of the American Medical Association that the majority of the doctor's visits, about 60 to 80% of these medical visits, these doctor visits, are all stress related. So, how can we go about bringing that stress down? They find that, cravings are cultural. I think what we're exposed to kind of leads us into what we crave, in a sense. So if wherever we come from, whether it's, I know with my parents too, and I think a good amount of families can relate to this, whether it's low income or, poverty-stricken communities, middle-class communities, what you're exposed to, the types of foods that are on the dinner table, what are packed in your lunches, if you even got that, you're going to kind of grab and go, and that's going to be the mainstream of what you think is what's available, I guess. You don't have any other options. So they've been doing a lot of studies too, and they're finding that even in these poverty-stricken communities, that when these children are exposed to more home-cooked meals, so whatever that home-cooked meal is, more whole type foods, and the minimum is 3 times a week, if they can sit down with their family or sit down and actually have a meal that's home cooked. So, okay, maybe it's a bag of frozen vegetables if that's the best that they can do, or, pasta and meatballs, whatever. Look, I mean, I'm Italian. Pasta was a staple back in the day for my family. The fact that it was being cooked by my parents or by my grandparents or whatever, you're having food, you're being cared for, lovingly sitting at the table, talking about what happened in your day, being able to redefine those connections or really solidify those connections. We release so many amazing hormones and so many neurotransmitters, these cascades of feel good, healthy hormones, things that keep you thriving and keep your heart pumping, keep your brain active and feeling really good. Imagine how many people are not receiving those things on a daily basis, just by getting that. And we work a lot, just as most people do, but being able to connect and reestablish all that physiologically, what happens to the body when we have good food in front of us, things that are healthy, and by even going back to this study, these children and all the micronutrients they're receiving by getting these whole foods, the best choices that we can make at the time, instead of maybe just a sugary cereal, could it be just something that grandma made or the aunt made or the mother made or the father made or whatever the case. Those choices. Maybe it is a deli meat, but the point is it's being made with love. It's more of a whole-based food as opposed to just processed and something out of a box. Being able to have more access and more control over what you're putting in your body, and even for your children. It allows their brains to develop more appropriately. Their growth factor is huge, right? If they're athletes, which most kids, even as children, the growth rate increases. Their attentiveness in school, shutting TVs off, putting phones away, phone calls, being present with your loved ones, being present and actually caring and talking about what happened, and just being in the moment. I think that those little things make such a difference in how your body and your immune system respond to stress, and how your immune system will thrive more so. Different times of the year, there's viruses going around, colds going around, flus going around, whatever. Immune systems get compromised sometimes. Maybe, being able to have that home cooked meal, you can teach your children, okay, if you're going to have lunch at school today, what's the best choice? Giving them that option, giving them that knowledge so they're capable when they leave the home to be able to make the best choice possible for themselves. And that goes for us too. When we're going out, maybe we didn't pack our lunch, maybe we have a work dinner planned. What's the best choice that we can make on the fly? Being able to get those vitamins and minerals, those healthy fats, that amount of protein that we need, the things that help us feel our best. We have our workout at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. I want to be able to get a good workout in, but maybe the fried chicken and waffles, although it sounds amazing, and it is amazing, but would that be the best choice for me when I have a 5 a.m. work call or a 5 a.m. workout, or I have 2 hours of commute that I have to get into the city at this time of the day? I need to be alert and focused. I need to feel refreshed, feel good. And again, you're teaching your children. We're learning as we go. So again, just bringing it back to home and making those healthy choices beyond, nutrition in a sense. So I think I went over everything, but I know we both feel very strongly about this.
Yeah. Yeah. Excuse me. I'm going to have to lower the volume on that cough. But
was I too loud?
No.
Oh.
No, I meant for that split second of the segment. Otherwise, I'm going to blow someone's eardrums out. Growing up, having a meal with your family, that family time was always important, right? Once it's gone, that's when you realize how important and how valuable it truly is. So if I there's more to being healthy than just working out and making the right food choices, which is why this episode's so great for that, because Thanksgiving does bring people together, as do most like holidays. But the point being, we live in such a technology driven world today, such an upbeat, fast paced daily lifestyle, to where you start to forget about the simple things that kept you on track. So like for instance, for myself, as far as my organization, my ADHD gets the best of me 9 times out of 10. But I realized that when I started thinking about it one day, I was like, what do I got to do to get organized and get my life in check so I can start being more productive throughout the day? And I remembered how anal I was about keeping my daily planner, my homework planner in school at least, up to date. And then when I would complete a task, I'd cross it off. So that's something I brought back into my adulthood. But going back to my childhood too, things that kept you in line, and the structure of everything was having those family meals, right? And being Filipino American, as you could imagine, very Catholic household, very Catholic upbringing. Grace was something that was said before every meal, right? So, again, we're all adults now. You don't realize that how important stuff like that is in moving you towards a longer, healthier life once it's gone. So if you notice that that's happening in your life, maybe just try to set time aside for that. Just like we always set time aside for date night. That's very important. I truly believe that sitting down, getting that tribal feeling in, getting your meals in is always important. Obviously, it's not going to happen when you take your lunch break or eat your breakfast at work or anything like that. But dinner, for the most part, it's important to get that in that type of setting as often as possible. I mean, and I say that part, I emphasize the as often as possible, with the point being that we do have a lot of parents in here of travel athletes. Your schedule is going to be all over the place, but I'm sure you could find at least 4 times a month to get that family meal in together. Maybe not once a week, but I'm sure 4 times a month shouldn't be a problem, right? Especially since there's a national holiday for every fucking thing in the world now.
Right.
So, like, maybe use that as an excuse,
Well, it forces people, I think, too. Kids, we all like to eat certain things, I think, and again, being that, I think, food, your health and food, I just think it's just so, it is cultural. I mean, what you're exposed to, it's very true. What you're exposed to is really what you crave, and, I mean, even for, and I crave that too. I mean, I think being from an Italian American family, I'm just always so used to sitting around the table and communing with everybody. I think you don't know what it's like when you don't have it. So when you do have it and it's not there, it's a significant part that's missing. And I think we've become so technologically sound in this 21st century that everything is so dopamine related, and our brains need to get that fixed. But imagine if being able to sit down and have that nice conversation with, if it's your parents, your friends, whatever, just being able to have that conversation and that connection, that dopamine, that serotonin release, that oxytocin release, the hug, the embrace, the kiss, the touch of the hand, the cutting of maybe the meat or the pasta for the child, all those little things. This is very nurturing. It's very loving. It's it goes back to the hunter-gatherer days where, we had the men, the boys going out to bring the food in. We had the moms, the daughters, the grandmas, whatever, to create the meals, to build build things for the home, or wash the clothes, or whatever. Like, everybody's got their role, but it's all done in a loving way. I mean, it's, there are tribes that are out there that, oh, well, if they don't move, they know they'll die. The point is you have to keep moving. You have to keep doing. You will not exist without that push forward. And everybody's got their place. So imagine if you were just, living on your own, if that's all you know. But once you get to experience that, is you find it as a very healthy and natural part of your life, and your body does start to crave it because it's innate. It's a very intuitive part of how you thrive, and just being able to grow up too, just like you, and sitting there and talking and laughing, and maybe there's debate too. I think all of that is very healthy, and with the holidays is Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter. There's just different holidays that you convene and you gather. And it's an emotional time for people, and especially for people who don't have anybody and don't have family. So just imagine how much more they do crave it. They don't even realize maybe that they crave it, and little outbursts happen, and all these mental health issues come up, especially around certain times of the year too. So I know one of our members, their whole family, we're going to give a shout out to Christine Wagner and her family, because this Thanksgiving they're going to donate their time at a soup kitchen. Now, how amazing is that?
Yeah, she didn't mention it this morning.
Oh my God! Yeah, we were talking about it the other day, and just by doing little things like that, so that's doing their part in being able to provide service and do something good for herself, her family, and do something really nice and loving for community, for those that might not have, and. You turn in to yourself, and you realize how grateful and how blessed you are. Mm-hmm. So I think it's important. We ate fish a lot as a family. My grandfather owned a very successful fish market for many years, which was turned over to my uncles, and so we always had fish around us. And gosh, I started eating fish at like 3 months old. But again, this is a cultural thing, and I love seafood. I love fish. Mm-hmm. And I love eating with my family. So it's like we all eat together every Sunday. We make sure we have a meal together. And all of our lives are busy. So it's just part of our week. We make it a priority. And I know it's just so easy to, you guys have that time, but I don't really have that time. It's so easy to kind of shrug your shoulders and push it under the rug and say, like, I just don't have the time. People say that shit for exercise. I don't have the time. Going to the grocery store. I don't have the time. Maybe going to church. Whatever it is, I don't have the time. I can't do that. I don't have the time. When we make things a priority, you make the time. You make the time to sleep. You make the time to shower. You make the time to brush your teeth. You make the time to, go out with the boys and have a few beers. There's no judgment here. I really don't care what anybody else does, because people might not agree with certain things that we do. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But regardless of that, is, what's a priority to you, what's most important to you, you always make the time. So even just adding in those little things, maybe starting to bring your kids into the kitchen and saying, I know you love whatever type of fruit. Maybe we can make a muffin with that type of fruit. Or, we're going to have dessert tonight. I'm going to give you 2 choices of recipes, this one or that one, whatever those 2 are. Have your children, be active participants in what you're eating. Or I want you to make sure that you have Thursday cleared. So do you have extracurricular activity? Like, do you have baseball practice? Do you have whatever? Let's just make sure we're home by whatever time of night. I'm making chicken parm, or I'm making whatever the case. Make sure everybody's home for that day, even if it's once a week at that time, so that you guys can all have dinner together. Even if it's once a week, the point is we have to start making more time. And, all foods are healthy. It's in the right portions. And the point is learning those cues and putting the fork down, putting the knife down, putting all the electronics down, and being present with the ones that you love. And again, it could be the ones that you care for, could be coworkers, friends, teammates, family, spouse, siblings, whatever the case. But the point is that you help to keep that connection, and it's just as healthy for them as it is for you. So it goes both ways. There's always an energy exchange, and you're doing yourself a service by engaging in those activities, because again, it's showing the mortality rate decreases, your lifespan, your health span increases by a lot. So we want to do things that will increase our lifespan. And recently the lifespan has gone down because of a lot of the crazy things that are going on these past few years. So we want to start to bring that number back up again. And we have to be proactive in what we can do to make that happen. And, be a leader in that. Show other people that it's possible. That's huge.
Mm-hmm. The sense of a nuclear family has really gone to the wayside.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's important to bring that back.
We have a community here at Overdrive. I mean, it's so nice to see everybody, and we might see people 3 days a week, maybe more, maybe less, just depends. And then a lot of times we see their kids too. So, we have this extended family. Besides, they love seeing the dogs. It's just wonderful. That's why I love doing what I do. I mean, but you get to share in that energy. You get to share, and people feed off that, because at the end of the day, you just don't know what whomever is dealing with, or maybe you're dealing with something. It's just nice to be able to talk, and it's nice to be able to share a meal with somebody, a cup of coffee and a little snack, something that you get to just sit and chill,
Mm-hmm. Why don't you shout out our athlete of the month?
Okay. Yes. I started working with this young man several weeks ago.
So his name is Brian Domitrovitz. It's important to mention that first, so everyone knows we're talking about.
I was going to.
Uh-huh.
And you threw me off there a little bit, Teddy. He's very special in the sense that he's dealing with something. I don't know how to pronounce it.
ATCP.
ATCP. You guys can look it up. I know it affects all body systems. We've spoken to his mom, Lauren, about it. We are here to give him the best life that we can. So the goal for him each session is to have fun. And if we're not having fun, we do something else. So I get to see him every week. And for the past several weeks, he goes to... what's the school that he goes to again, Teddy?
He's in the South Orangetown School District. He's currently at, I believe, Cottage Lane. He is at South Orangetown Middle School. I'm sorry. He's at South Orangetown Middle School.
And the funniest thing is that when he started here, he already has a posse. I think he knows at least 2 handfuls of the athletes that we train here. First time he came in, I think everybody kind of dapped him up. What's up, Brian? Brian, what's up? So he already has a posse here. He's like the king when he comes in.
Mm-hmm.
This is what makes our job and our profession so much more enjoyable. I just wanted to shout him out for a moment, because no matter how tired he is or energetic, but there's times when he's tired, because the disease does affect him as a whole. We have him doing pull-ups now. We have him doing all the things that he loves to do. He makes me smile. He smiles through the workout. We have fun. He's silly. And I think he inspires everybody when he's here too. Again, I'm grateful to be a part of this journey with him. Before I start to get emotional about it. he deserves it. And that's really all I need to say.
So, for those of you that may be tuning in, listening, or watching on YouTube, to put it shortly and simply, the disease that Brian's dealing with is, well, let's put it this way. Think about any disease that you would never wish upon somebody, combine them all together, and multiply that by 10. With the exception of losing any mental capabilities. His body's failing him. Mentally, he's there. So the kid is definitely witty. We love that. Great energy. Very rewarding to be around. Just to be present, right? I'm sure you would agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
he has supersonic hearing.
it just makes you it's just a reminder of like what Eric LeGrand said, a long time ago. Eric LeGrand was the former Rutgers college football player who he was paralyzed on the field, and when people had asked him, I remember he said to Joe DeFranco, one thing he would just constantly say to himself every day since the paralysis was or is in comparison to what, right? So it's basically like your life could be complete shit, but compared to what? So some of us may have some daily bullshit that we deal with, and it's we may make a bigger deal out of it than we should. Then you get to once in a lifetime come across a soul like Brian, and you forget all that other bullshit because you see this kid just crushing life. He loves to be here, let's put it that way, and his energy definitely reverberates around amongst everyone else that comes in here, right? So like when he's here, the adults are here, they love it, they absolutely love it.
Mm-hmm.
The kids love it, hence why we made him athlete of the month, because obviously he's great to be around, but
embracing the moments, like we spoke about on the last podcast, is the way of the peaceful warrior, is being able to stop and be still within the spaces between the moments. I'm not sure how many moments that Brian will have, but if we have any control over that short amount of time or that long amount of time, it's important that he gets to enjoy those moments. And I'm honored to be a part of that process.
So in order for us, or a way that we'd like to show thanks for just being able to be part of Brian's life, is as we discussed, we're running a special, right? So basically, let's put it this way: if you come in and join from now until December 22nd, we're gonna make a donation on your behalf towards the ATCP organization to fundraise towards research to figure out how to really battle and hopefully one day defeat this terrible disease, a disease in which I think what I read was the person that lived the longest with this disease made it to 20. Most of them don't make it beyond their teens, right? So from now till December 22nd of 2023, if you come in and join, we'll donate anywhere. We're going to make a donation on your behalf towards that foundation of up to $100, right? So I just feel like it's the least we could do to help other people like Brian, right? So it's sad, but there's always a positive in everything, right? So given the circumstances that he lives with, I just think he's an amazing person.
He is an amazing person.
He's an amazing person.
And he's always happy, and he loves video games, and he has a YouTube channel And I love seeing how his mom's face lights up and her eyes light up when when he's training. Um, she leaves so happy, and she's grateful, and it's important that she gets to see that too. And it's important that he leaves here feeling confident and feeling like he did something and feeling good about himself.
And he leaves with a pump because he's always flexing on his way out.
Yes.
Front double by.
And he's always so grateful. Thank you. Oh my God, it's just amazing. His mom told a story after, I think, was it his like second session here or something? I think he went in front of the mirror and he started flexing. He goes, if I feel this good and it's only been my second session, imagine how good I'm gonna feel, like the next time. My God.
Yeah.
I just.
So it's
can't.
not like we're trying to end this episode on a sad note. It's more of a just let's bring awareness and really put into perspective, giving thanks this time of year, and just to really wrap up the whole, healthy eating choices beyond nutrition, healthy choices beyond nutrition, because, the way this kid lives his life is definitely, it's definitely something that we should all strive to do as well. Same attitude.
Just being in the moment and being present and being grateful, and there's no bad days.
No bad days. I like that. Maybe
So,
it's another T-shirt we make.
Hopefully, more of the Warriors will be able to see, take note when Brian is here. He usually comes in the afternoons at 4:30. So, come by the session and say hi to him. Give him a pound. Let him know he's doing a great job. Acknowledge. I think that's important too. Is acknowledge because he's working hard.
Yes.
He's working hard.
All right, so that wraps up this episode of Overdrive AF, episode number 162. I can't believe we've gotten this far, this many.
Yeah.
Hopefully everybody enjoys their Thanksgiving. If you're listening to this, the day comes out, it is Thanksgiving. Definitely enjoy your time with your family and friends that you don't see often. And thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you guys on another episode of Overdrive AF next week. We are out. Peace.